So today, I'd like to talk about sound therapy. I'm MC of Healthy by George. I hope you will definitely consider subscribing. I'm here every Sunday and Thursday talking about all kinds of things that help us with our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health as we're getting older. Because that's what we have to really work hard to do is stay engaged in our health and our well-being into our much older years so that we're functional and can still walk and move and do as we want to make our life more engaging. We don't want to just be sitting idly by and doing nothing as we get older. I hope you don't. I know I don't. So, what is sound therapy? And please think about subscribing. I would really love to see you here. Sound therapy is using sound or music to help with healing, to help with relaxing, to help with letting go of those stresses that we have in our lives. And that we can intentionally help ourselves by using specific sounds that influence our brain waves. And it promotes a sense of well being. And it's very different for every person. And I think that's what's so fascinating about sound therapy. The research is still very early in the process because the process of understanding the mechanism physically of how we respond to sound is not so simple. It's very subjective, although we are getting better to understand how music and sound impacts the brain by doing MRIs. We can see how it influences our brain. And that's really phenomenal how we can see our brain waves are calming down and they're going into those theta waves, which are much more calming and relaxing for our brains. So when you think about sound therapy, it's very interesting about how it can potentially reduce your basic stress, or if you've got some kind of condition that you're working towards healing, and that it's these different frequencies of sound and rhythm that can somehow promote this change in our physiological and emotional response. So much so that they have started a music therapy that began, I forget when music therapy started, but it's really engaging people in making music and using that to as a tool for healing. It's focusing on either making an oral sound like singing or playing an instrument or a drum even. Pounding a rhythm on a drum can be so healing. So music therapy and creating it or engaging in any kind of music therapy is so powerful. The other thing that I love is what they call sound baths. This is something that I find fascinating. And this is typically where you have a sound such as I think there's singing bowls or gongs or bells. And they're just resonating in this beautiful, non rhythmic process. And you feel like the sound is surrounding you. And you can envision it as entering your body and surrounding you because that's really what the waves are doing. Sound waves keep going through everything, they keep going and going into the universe. Sound waves are phenomenal. So, thinking about sound baths, it's this wonderful way of having a relaxing, meditative experience. You can find these things on YouTube or apps where they give you sound baths. It's just a phenomenal addition if you're doing meditation of any kind to add some sound bathing to your meditative practice so that you feel this sense of an atmosphere of comfort that surrounds you with these sounds of the singing bowls or the gongs or the bells. And that's what's so beautiful about it. It's this kind of vibration. And then it comes to there's a way of using tuning forks. So typically, when we think of a tuning fork, we think of someone who's the head violinist of a symphony and they hit A and they're all tuning up so that they all can be in tune with each other for the piece they're going to play. But actually, tuning fork therapy is using the specific frequencies of these tuning forks to help resonate different parts of the body, which I think is interesting that can promote healing and balance. I think how they do it is they will take the tuning fork, hit it and strike it, and then hold it to certain parts of the body, maybe the vagus nerve or somewhere in the top of your head, or if you're someone who pays attention to chakras, putting the tuning fork close to some of your key inner chakras could be a very powerful thing. I think the other thing is this issue called binaural beats. And this is a different process because there's two slightly different frequencies, one in each ear, and you don't really notice it that they're different. But basically, it's something where you're listening to binaural beats, and this can help with your mental state. So I've tried most of these, and frankly, the thing that really appeals to me is the sound bathing. I don't know why, but there's something about the singing bowls and the kind of non-rhythmic resonation just is very appealing. So, what are the benefits of sound therapy? We think it has a benefit in reducing anxiety and stress, improving your sleep because it brings you into this super relaxed state and really calms your brain with the resonating or the vibration or the frequencies or the stimulation of your body and using these sound therapies. It can enhance your mood and your emotional well-being. Some people believe it can alleviate pain. And I know for me, I have chronic pain going on right now with my hip because I have to have a hip replacement in a week. So I've been using some of the sound therapy and some self-hypnosis as I prepare for surgery because I really don't want to use a whole lot of opioids at all. I want to see how much I can reduce it by embracing practices that are not a pill. I very much want to look at behavioral practices that can help us. And I'm a big proponent of working with our behavior and our thoughts and our feelings. And sound therapy is right there. It can help us support our cognitive functioning and our ability to focus, especially if you want to learn to play a musical instrument or learn music in any way. It really helps you focus if you learn some music or engage in music, even if it's just practicing singing. All of that is very much promoting of health and well-being. So, how can we use it? Many places are not using sound therapy in the clinic, but there are some practices, such as wellness locations that are popping up, or special spas and things that are incorporating sound therapy, because it truly can be a wonderful addition to a treatment for conditions, specifically anxiety, depression, PTSD, chronic pain, insomnia. These are all things that we know can help you if you engage in some sound therapy. But I think that what's the problem is the research and the evidence we have is rather weak. We don't really know how we can capture and measure what is effective, what is giving people positive effects. It's just so riddled with unclear ways to measure, and that's really what science is all about. How do we measure something? Right now, we have a terrible time measuring pain. When people tell us how is their pain, it's very hard to describe what pain you're in, and it's hard to tell you what level of pain you're in. What's the pain intensity? We're always asking this 0 to 10. What's the 0 to 10 measure for you? With 10 being the worst of pain you can imagine, and 0 being no pain. Frankly, I can't even tell you what kind of pain I'm having. It's just very difficult. It's a toss up as far as I'm concerned. When I'm sitting and doing nothing, I'm in no pain, but when I start moving, there's pain. And so when I think about it, what kind of pain is it? It's not such a bad pain that I can't get up and go. So then maybe that's right, a 4 or 5 or something like that, I guess. When you have much, much more pain like 9s and 10s, you know what? If you're having pain of 9 or 10, it's difficult to do anything in your day because even me, with this pain that I have right now, frankly, it does you in mentally. It does a number on your mental wellness to have to chronically, whenever you get up, stand up, sit, move, walk, you feel pain. And even though I'm taking pain medication that helps, the Tylenol and the Mobic, they are very helpful. it doesn't relieve you completely of the pain. And so it's always a reminder. So I'm doing everything I can, and sound therapy is one of them. I really believe in improving my well being by doing some sound therapy. And I want to have it be effective because I think every person differs. Some sounds will appeal to you that don't appeal to me. And some sounds are more about what is influencing your brain waves versus what they might influence you. So explore that for yourself. There's so many things that you can look into from YouTube or in the App Store, especially with binaural beats or the sound waves or doing sound baths. I think with a tuning fork, you really need to have a tuning fork with you. And you can get them at various, I think you can get different keys or different notes. You can get an A, you can get a C, you can get various vibrational levels of pitches. And so I'm not quite certain if we've ever learned what is a better pitch over another pitch for a tuning fork approach. I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar with that, but it's definitely fascinating to take something that vibrates like that and maybe target an area of your body that's hurting. The key is that using sound therapy is a holistic approach. It's using your whole body, your mind, your spirit, your body. It embraces you, it envelops you. Sound does. It penetrates you. That's what's so beautiful about sound, that the waves keep going and they don't go around you, they go through you, which I think is wonderful. So either make sounds yourself or listen to sounds or do anything you can if you're feeling down or stressed or you feel a little more anxious. Find some sounds that make you feel relaxed, that give you that sense of calm and peace. Because truly using sound as a healing mechanism is powerful. We don't embrace it enough in our medical field. We need to use more holistic approaches, such as sound therapy, so that we can start enhancing and improving people's well-being and their healing process and making our lives more enjoyable because we're able to influence our brain waves. How phenomenal is that through making sound or surrounding ourselves in sound? So be well, my friends. You have this one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest. Let's do everything we can to keep ourselves healthy and strong as we get older. Check me out every Sunday and Friday, and please think about subscribing. I would love to see you here. Be well. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.